Good morning,
Morning.
Sunday. So, not a lot of questions yet to go dig into.
Yeah.
So, let's try a weekly energy reading or
Okay.
end of the month or whatever you want to do. What do we got on the 17th?
17th, we got 2 weeks left.
Okay. Energy reading, what's going to go on for this week and next week.
Mm-hmm.
Try that.
Yeah.
What do we need to know from the political world, our safety?
I'm just gonna say what's gonna be the energy around the collective because my garden doesn't like political world.
Oh, there we go. You do that.
We gotta do it. Otherwise they'll all roll off and I'll be climbing around the floor looking for the stones. And for those of you who are interested in crystals and whatever's going on with them, this Friday, this coming Friday at 7 o'clock with Miss Sheila, I'm going to actually build a grid live and we're going to talk about the last few I've built and how they've been put together. There's a video out right now on my channel of the reading I did with Jeffrey to pick the grid that I'm building for him. That's going to be the one we show. So if you want to see kind of soup to nuts on how crystals work, other than in the garden, but when we're building grids, that's going to be on 7 o'clock Central Time Friday. Okay. Oh, well, we got some good stones here, Mr. Scott.
Well,
What are you doing over
yeah,
there?
your masterfulness, I guess.
I guess. And you can't see the best one. Have to lift it up. Wasn't intending on coming on, so I hadn't aimed my camera already.
You're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Morning, Teresa.
Hmm?
I was just saying good morning to
Oh, to
a
people?
viewer.
Scott's always a good host. I'm terrible about that, folks. I'm terrible. It's hard enough for me to keep my head in the game as it is. Although I'm much better. We think we found out why I was losing my mind. And okay, what we're starting with is spirit is in the heart. And whenever a stone falls in the heart, that's where you start the reading in the garden. And spirit's now making our hearts come alive. We're having once again we have this I think we had this stone last week. This is the grounding stone between the present and the future, and that's telling us that virtues are now being purified, and but we're still having a little trouble recognizing all the gifts there, but they're going to be there. They're really going to be there because they're there in the future. Our mind is in earth, and that's final thoughts to the situation. So something's wrapping up, guys, and it's going to lift our spirits. Our body's in water, and that's being grounded right now is going to really, really be helpful. If you can stay grounded and not flow with every little headline you read or weird thing you see in the news. And our outstone is go for it, and that's got clarity in it, and that's move on intuition. So it says that right now our heart's really coming alive. Right now, our brains are emerging. We're purifying our values, and but they're not completely done being purified. We need to stay grounded, and it's a great time to move on our own intuitions, which is an extremely positive view for the collective. It says things in next week are going to be flowing forward well.
Well, my cards are in total agreement.
Well, good.
I got the World High Priestess, Knight of Gabriel, and Three of Raphael.
Oh my God.
It's all about psychic intuition, um, positive movements forward, happy endings. I crossed it. I grabbed one more to cross the whole energy, and it came out to be the sun. Life is wonderful. Things are inspiring. So there's a lot of great energy coming this week.
Mm-hmm.
Three of Raphael will be like reasons to celebrate.
That's the
So I think we're going to get
Three of Cups. That's the Three of Cups.
um
Yeah. Three of Raphael's, Three of Cups. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So I think we're going to get some great news this week. You know,
We already got great news late this week. 7-2 on him on Birthright.
right.
You know, and we know the two who don't like it. Alito, who doesn't think anybody who's not a white male should be born. I want to know what he's going to do with the next generation. And then you got Clarence, who's denies any person who denies so much of who and what they are and where their family comes from is not someone to deal with. So
yeah. So we're talking either good news from, you know, the Supreme Court or wherever, or actually taking actions on situations like with that Aliens Act and get the
right, and his
guy back or whatever.
His screwy budget didn't go through, you know, and the only problem that's problematic about his screwy budget not going through is the reason that those Republicans voted the way they did. It's not because it's unfair to the American people. What was because it didn't cut more of them out. I mean, that's the problem. He's not making his far right people happy either, and he, you know, his only way forward on that is to come after me. And as a little, I mean, I don't march because I have bad knees. I'll crawl to Washington if they screw with it. I mean, I talk to so many people that are terrified that something's going to happen to that. And it's happened to us in lots of little ways. You can't go in and get the tests you used to be able to get. I couldn't get the medicine I really needed to treat my lungs. Fortunately, I had a long-term client here in Dallas who runs a company that builds big air handlers their air handlers are so good they can knock COVID out of the air. And when she found out, she heard what I was going through, she called me up and said, "I'm sending you a machine." And I said, "I can't put that in my house." She said, "No, we have small room size that will do 200 square feet size handlers that do the same thing." So she sent me her handler. And so I've been fortunate, but I know there's a lot of people that are not that lucky, and it's not happening like that for them. And it's tough, guys.
You know, there's a select few of the GOP that are at least speaking about that added $5 trillion debt, or
right,
and or they also want the debt limit at 5 trillion cap. You know, it's a free spending.
Mm-hmm.
Spending.
As long as it's going to them, it's fine.
So they are talking, you know, at least some budgetary constraints. So that's a good thing. At least there's enough pushback.
Yeah.
You get a roll again for next week, or you're going to toss it?
Yeah, sure. I can do the week after. This is this week. I'll do the next week.
So I got a lot of coins for next week, Ariel.
Ah, that means it's going to be something we're really going to see and feel.
Page is about new things, new opportunities coming through.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 is talking about giving and receiving, acts of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 of Gabriel is about celebrations,
mm-hmm.
rewards, releasing burdens, and then the Ace is the lucky day, new resources. So I think there's going to be some cooperations going on next week.
Yeah, it's going to be something we're going to physically feel because of what we got up here. I've got Earth in the root chakra, which is connection to security through physical forms, what we really feel. And it's also in Go For It, one of my favorite places. And movement is going to be easy. So these changes that we're looking at here are going to be easy. We're going to have a little trouble believing it. We're going to say, is that really going on? Because we've been so messed up in the past. But it's telling us that new patterns really are emerging, and we need to seek that out. And we And don't be blinded by fool's gold. So we need to look for the things they're telling us that are actually real. But this is going to be a complete change in our physical environment. Our brains are going to be flying up in the air. How we think about things are all important. And I can't tell you enough about how I think that's true. If we tie into the fear, then the fear grows and we all hide inside ourselves. And I think people being out there and challenging it is part of what's bringing around all the big changes. Um, Spirit is coming up out of the earth. It's transforming, but it's not going to be finished. It's not going to all happen next week. But we're starting to feel in our souls the real changes that are coming. And our clarity is coming from use ideas from the past that have been successful. So keep pushing where things have worked and have that work out fine. And then we've got water. And by the end of that week, we'll have all the clarity we really need if we'll surrender to it and open up to it. So it's another real positive collective growth week. And that'll be the week after Memorial Day. Okay?
Or during.
That's the week of Memorial Day. That Monday will kick that off.
Yeah. Morning, JJ.
Hi, Gigi. Glad to see you're up and about.
Yep, Pope Leo was speaking today and talked with Zelensky, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah, Jen, the last few weeks have been up and down, but it feels like things are going to get much better, especially this week. This week,
yeah, this is a week that when you and I rolled out last week, when we rolled it out, and if I don't know how many of you know, but on Friday, every Friday night, I have a week look ahead with Jeffrey, and he does it with Tarot, and I do it with the garden. And man, the changes we saw from mid-May into July are just incredible. I mean, we couldn't. It's like, I know I have negative stones in here. I know things turn out badly, but not now. Oh, I'm glad whatever those storms were didn't get near you, Nancy Castellano.
Yeah. Sherry must have heard something going on with solar flares lately.
I haven't actually. There hasn't been that much with that. There's been some deep space pulses coming in. I want a little bit about that. Quite honestly,
generally aren't a huge deal. You know, they call them like mass corona ejections from the sun. It does bring more energy towards Earth.
Right. And if we get a really bad one that blasts the Earth, it
can disrupt communication.
Yeah, the Carrington incident, which happened in the 1800s, right after lots of telegraph wires had been put up all over the world, and it hit the Earth, and it actually killed 2 telegraph operators that were in their offices when the beam hit. And of course, think of all the stuff we have now that it would hit, but then it killed them and it burned out parts of Europe's telegraph system, and it will only affect the side of the Earth it hits. And they weren't sure they knew about sunspots, and they knew that year they were having big giant sunspots, but the sunspots follow. The sun has just switched its poles, and its north and south pole switch every 11 years. Be grateful you don't live there. And they've been really watching the coronal masses, and we've had some that had the sun been pointing just the wrong way, we'd have been toast. I mean, we've been a marshmallow on the stick. But we do have our electromagnetic field to shield us somewhat. But I watch the sun reports, but he hasn't been on much, so I take it there's one guy who does it all the time. Anyway.
CC. Master Solar
Oh, did it last? Okay, that's why I didn't see it.
last night. Okay, cool. Yeah, Oxford Cat's talking about that there was a huge volcanic eruption.
In Japan.
I didn't know that.
And
I looked it up quick. Yeah.
did you see the one in Hawaii that they've got pictures of it going off all the time? And 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, it's the volcano that's off of Sicily, and off the island of Sicily, and it's a big one, and it's tied to Etna and to Vesuvius. So,
Oh yeah, did you catch that or no?
no,
So
it could be solar flares. They do GPS.
yeah, it lost control. There were people on the mast as it was coming into the Brooklyn there, but it lost control, kind of like that other ship did that hit that big ship that ran into the bridge
in Maryland.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It lost
You
control.
want me to? I'll look at it.
Yeah. But anyway, the mast hit the bridge, and there were people standing on the mast like in a celebration mode. And
Do you think they would measure for that? I thought all the cities were sinking. How could New York be sinking and its bridges not being whole?
in the video I seen, there was a tugboat trying to sail with it, like maybe redirect it, but it was too late. So why steering, mechanical, so they're nefarious. I sense something mechanical.
It's human error. I got human error. I got that their collaboration was weak. They weren't doing what they went where they were told not to go. And then my other messages about it was messengers were slow about getting information back and forth between each other, and they were confused. They were just really confused, and they wanted to go through and have their big moment in the sun. That's a moment of glory, and it didn't work out. And also, there may have been somebody on the ship that was doing something nefarious because it's got people something shady way. I think it's a little bit of all of it. I think, of course, when everybody's on the top of their game, less nefarious things seem to happen unless you're living here right now.
So it feels like a maintenance issue to me.
Yeah, like something wasn't set right.
Like something should have been done, for maintenance issues or something that wasn't, but there was a failure. Because the first card I get is like strength card. So that would be like maintenance, things are up to par. But then there was something transitioning or something dark happening. And then we got decisions card, which would mean like, do we fix it or do we take care of this? We'll just put it off. Because I have the wealthy businessman and maybe the owner, what to do, and then catastrophe happens.
Yeah.
But I think it'll come out what happened.
Yeah.
And the reasons why. Ace of Swords is in the end. Here's the truth coming out. Ace of Coins, money fine or something like that. But then the Three of Coins is like doing the work. They didn't do the work. So I don't really sense like it was because of flares or something like that. It was reported that it lost control, that it had no steering. And so it just feels like it was, something
human error. Humans make errors and they make misjudgments on what they ought to take care of and not take care of. Do you want to answer the question about Newark?
We can try. Where is that? Newark.
Yeah.
Everything in the news is more about old wiring breaking down for communications.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's what happens when you don't fix your infrastructure for 50 years. When you get Ronald Reagan in there, it was 50 years ago that he decided to destroy Patco. And the second they started taking Patco apart, they said that's just everything will just fall down from there. Because I was working at the airline when that was happening. We were not happy. In order to be an air traffic controller at that time, I don't know what their standards are now, but you had to have gone through the flight school training of flying a jet. You had to see what they were seeing in the jet and then see what it looked like on your radar screen. And that seemed totally reasonable to me. And I had to fly all the time. I worked for an airline and they stuck me in airplanes whether I liked it or not. And I really don't like airplanes. I don't like the way they feel. I don't like having my feet off the ground. I don't think it's luxurious. But anyway, what's going on in Newark? Oh.
The problems were known.
Mm-hmm.
The money to fix things was a wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll do it later. Because I get my decision card again. Which way do we go? It's kind of like the Two of Swords. Evaluate the money card, and then light, sun would mean they known about problems.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the money wasn't there. Do we fix it later? Whatnot. Then I get the Magician, Queen of Wands, and the Eight of Coins. Patchwork.
Mm-hmm.
Someone came up with a plan. Let's patchwork things for now. It should be fine. We're going to get the money later. Upgrade the infrastructure or whatnot. It didn't happen.
Yeah, they just didn't invest the Eight of Swords the way they should have.
Yeah, the government didn't come through, and now we got lost.
Now we're all the hangman. Us being hung over the airport.
It comes in with a Knight of Swords too, which is kind of chaotic. So yeah, it's mainly an infrastructure problem. People problem too, but
no, it's. I mean, if the machines don't work, it doesn't matter what the people do. I mean,
correct. I mean, we can tell I see in the report there's only 2 airports in the United States that have full employment.
Full complement of air traffic controllers. And this is what's at the heart of this problem is they need someone to provide the emotional support and security to pull it through. And they don't have anybody. I mean, they don't care. And you know what? What's amazing about that is they may fly in and out of with their little private jets, but their little private jets are still in that airspace. I'm so glad I don't live under an airport anymore. I can't tell you. I did for about 30 years. I lived under Love Field in Dallas, one way or another.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me too, Denver. Yeah,
Denver
it's just an infrastructure thing.
Denver's not a people thing, although they're not fully staffed. Denver's not a people thing, but Denver was a piece of equipment went down for 90 seconds. So have a good summer vacation, everybody.
Yeah. I'm not flying anywhere. Pakistan and India again. Future wars. From what I remember when it first broke out, we read on it. We were getting energy like of September or something. It probably come down. Feels like a rough 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we need to tap into that again. But
and the thing is that there's parts of Pakistan that are falling apart. It's like which war? The war between the two big countries, or the inner war within Pakistan and the little fringy parts of? It's a very complex place.
Okay, ship topics.
Oh,
Rose Blue asked about the Nottoway plantation house that burnt.
in White Castle, Louisiana. Louisiana.
So was the electrical problem or however it went up, do the spirits of slaves or was it just a malfunction?
Mm. Well, we got to pick either spirits or malfunction. So I'm gonna see if spirits helped.
Mm, yeah, I'll try my oracle deck on this one.
Okay.
What happened? Turn,
Well,
victim. I don't know.
I got a clear answer.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I gotta go with a different deck.
Okay, my answer was it's an evil place. That there's just so much combined evil there. But where the spirits behind it, it says no. It says it's a place where the sun never showed. It was never a place where people could begin and start things. And I don't get any haunty cards. I get just that the main cards I get is there was no sunlight here, and it was a place owned by the devil, and that could just be just a ill will that's been built up over years. I have a cartoon where a person's holding a stick of sage, and it's about 6 feet long. And it says, sage, it says there's not enough sage to cure this. I think it's one of those places. I can't imagine choosing to get married there. Apparently, it was a wedding venue.
Yeah, wedding venue, museum, whatever. I'm not really seeing like, spirit influence.
No.
It feels like more of a negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it was more. I get the feeling like, even though they say it turned into like a happy place for a venue for restarts, but like the spirits had kind of like heartbreak of being used as profit kind of feeling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I get this 10 of swords and king of coins next to each other here. So it's like pain from profit. And like needing to walk away from this
Right.
this energy, this venue. So my mind and recreation, it feels like a symbol of like there was an oil lamp set too close to a desk or something, and there was a gentle push.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feeling like, so maybe yes, but so that's why I get the feeling of it.
Yeah, I just have a
like a
feeling.
gentle push. The spirits weren't really happy. They just kind of feel like they wanted to have peace, and having this as a venue of profit and whatnot didn't feel good to them.
Well, and also a lot of that stuff about, oh, well, we're just glorifying, what was our glorious past. Well, if your glorious past was enslaving people and beating them to death, that's not so glorious. I mean, you can put it in a pretty white house and have beautiful rooms. I toured some plantations in South Carolina, And it was not my choice. I was executive director of a group of designers and they wanted to go there. And so they bought a ticket and said, oh, you get to come too. And they could never understand because I'd walk around on the plantation grounds. And one time I was on this one plantation's grounds and I talked to what was one of the tour people there. And I said, why is this tree so evil? And she said, oh, that's the tree where they hung the slaves when they came through and they wouldn't tell them where the silver was. And I said, is the rest of the house like that? And she goes, we kind of get used to it. And it's, it helps our town, make money. And I can understand that. And some of them weren't so bad, but all of them, everyone that I took pictures in the inside, there were always dark shadows in the corner. I mean, plantations are just they're not the sort of, they're like, I didn't like castles, particularly in England. I appreciated their history, but too much evil stuff happened there.
Yeah. My other 3 cards were like, the spirits felt trapped with that 8 of Swords.
Yeah, they'll burn it to the ground. Why not? Thank you, Sharon Sipe.
Carrie asked about the bomb at the fertility clinic in Palm Springs. Hear about that one?
Yes, I know about that one.
Yeah.
So there was a guy. Was the person who died in the bombing the one who was carrying the bomb?
What?
Was the person who died in the bombing the one who was carrying the bomb? Because
I don't think so.
Okay, they killed somebody in the clinic. Jeez.
Yeah, someone in the clinic died.
We're back to that.
Whatever. I seen online they know who it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a person who was created by IVF, and he believed he didn't need to. He was forced to come to life. And he's from Palm Springs. No, he's from Florida somewhere. You drove all that way or whatever. But he put a manifesto and a video out before he did this. But yeah, he felt like an abomination and he wanted to destroy a clinic because he was born by that. And he felt like he shouldn't have been born. So,
well, boo! I could swap my life story parts of it with him, and unfortunately, both my parents are dead, so I don't want. Well, anyway, long story. That story is exactly true. He felt unloved his whole life. He kept it inside himself and hid out for a long time. Then he felt like by clearing out this clinic that he would move himself on to a better place. We all got our problems. He also made him feel like he was a man doing something, but all he's going to do is change his life and whomever he killed forever. This goes back to the bad old days before abortion was legal, and they used to, that one doctor that they killed who ran the only abortion clinic in Missouri.
Yeah. But Deb said he was a resident of Palm Springs, but I know I read something about from Florida originally or something. But oh yeah, I'm sure our AG will be all over it. She made a statement, but that was about it. I mean, 25-year-old guy Edward Barktus, probably an incel.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of seeing. Was he was a 4 of Swords kind of guy.
Okay, we looked at that. Let's see. Rose heard Musk was being sued for not paying the $100 each per signatures. Oh, so Leon supposedly didn't pay out in his big rich schemes in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania.
Well, I don't know about other states, but in Texas, that's against the law to get people to pay people to sign your petitions for political reasons. You can't even offer them a sandwich if they'll sign it. I mean, you can't give away prizes for people. Trust me. When we used to get signatures, we used to make sure they were just signatures. No, that's a wannabe thought on some people's minds. Right now it's hanging there. It's not going anywhere. People are putting together complainants to be part of it. It's got 2 knights on it. It's got the Knight of Coins reversed, and then it's got the Knight of Cups. And it's an illusion. It's just something to try and convince people to not pull that stunt again. I think they're trying to get people put it together, but I don't think there's going to be a suit that's going to bring any real.
Okay, I did a Google search. Yes, there is lawsuits alleging his America PAC failed to pay voters who signed and referred others. The class action is asking for $5 million.
To go to whom? For why?
To the whoever signed the class action is asking for $5 million.
Okay.
For breach of contract, that $100 each person, whatever. Yeah, it's out
a
there.
suit, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
What's that? Trump's mug hanging. Oh, in the government building. Yeah.
That's the one where Lincoln's there because
he
formed the Library of Congress. And now they put his flag up because he got dissed.
Yeah, everything he does is to project that he's powerful, he's the leader, that his crazy AI videos on True Social and whatever, it always distracts from the fact of the chaos and how bad he is, to project strength like a dictator, all for the MAGA sheep.
Did you see his arrival in Saudi Arabia with the red Teslas and the people on camels? I didn't see it, but it sounds like
that about the camels. Oh
there
yeah, when they
one parade of camels, and then there was a whole bunch of red Teslas, and
yeah, yep, it was crazy. What's nuts is they do that when these people, they're not dumb, right? They can tell he's a moron, but they do that stuff. All for business or weapons or whatever they're going to pilfer to suck up to him and our government. Okay. Don't think I missed anything.
What, you want to talk about the 17 members of El Chapo's family that just walked across the border?
There's some kind of, oh wait, did I?
You didn't start it.
Oh, I didn't start it.
It's at 10:20.
I seen it, but I didn't start it.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they paid him. I don't even know. I don't have to lay a card on this. Money got exchanged to get them the hell out of Mexico. The president in Mexico, the woman president in Mexico, has told the people in the areas where these guys have terrorized them for so long, you have the right to shoot back. So it's turning out to be like Chicago in the 1920s. And I had a babysitter who was a young woman in Chicago in the 1920s, and there was a bootlegging. Well, there was illegal gin mill down the road from the high school I went to, actually. And she used to tell me about the gunshots and all the stuff. And they basically, Mexico's is not protecting them. So, and as long as they had El Chapo's money, they could protect themselves, but now they can't.
Yeah. Someone, a magician,
Mm-hmm.
worked out a bribe, devil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I get the unloved card too with that. So I don't know if they were facing issues in Mexico.
Oh, they were getting shot at. They were killing their family members.
Okay.
You know,
yeah, there's a bribe there. I heard they came with like $70,000. That's about it.
Yeah, I think they have money elsewhere.
In cash in hand or whatever. But there's going to be something about this, though. Maybe it comes out about how they came instead of the right way. Because in the end, I get a tower, chariot, and justice.
Oh, what I get is this is El Chapo going down, the King of Swords. He was no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while, they still had their money and they could live and feel safe in their little compounds. And then people began stealing and robbing from them, so they felt unsafe. They've crossed the border. They're walking into a prison of another sort. And it's one of the women in the family that ran this deal to get them across the border. So what's going to happen to them? You know, their money's not in banks. Their money's in crypto.
They just walked?
Yep. They walked right across the Tijuana border.
Walked across the border. That is strange. Just to walk across and then...
Yeah, you want to talk to all the other people that are backed up on the Mexico border that just can't walk across. There's no just CC. There's no just walking across the border.
And have no plan to, you know, where to go, what to do. Weird. James Comey went to the Secret Service for an interview regarding the post he made on Instagram. He was cleared, or is the FBI going to try to charge him? No, I don't see a charge.
I don't see a charge coming out of that. And
before all the MAGA would be charged for posting for that. You remember that thing that some clown put a bunch of stickers or whatever with Biden tied up in the trunk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there was stuff for 86, 46 all over. A lot of right wingers did that.
Mm-hmm.
No, there'll be no charging going on. It's just crazy. Ooh. TJ, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Caught on film, drugging it up again.
I think that boy has a problem.
Well, we've already know that. Okay. Sniffy JR. Thank you for the donation, Carrie. John Jr. What's up, your health? What's going on? What's going on with Sniffy J? Okay, DJ. Oh. Coins and 2.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ugh. Hmm.
Ugh.
In the past, I get, I don't know, I get bailout from Russia in the past. Lots of money from Russia with the Empress card. Dark money with the Queen of Swords. Seven of Coins feels like substance. More and more substance. Then I get the Hierophant card. I get him being an authority around other people and whatnot. And then I get Hangman. So it's kind of like he's destroying his life because of being in the Trump org and the accumulation of money and power. And then Two of Cups, a lot of celebrating. I mean, it's not the celebration card, but I mean, you got 2 people here that are
He's sharing stuff.
sharing stuff, right? Yeah. 5 of Wands, he's not functioning well. Anytime things don't go quite right, he's going hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Moon, I think he's losing it up here too.
Mm-hmm.
So the Moon's a crazy card. In the end, 8 of Cups. It's walking away from something. The Tower, he's not going to have a good time. The Fool. And the 7 of Wands. I think he's going to lose it. He might have a partial OD or something coming up where he's going to have a wake-up call.
I think he's going to have a call he doesn't wake up from.
Don Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
I see he's, as long as he's got his money, he's got his life, but he's sinking it totally into the throes of addiction, the Moon and the reverse star. And then look, his next card is the Devil. He's so tied to it, he can't get out. So what's his out card? His out card is the Knight of Wands. Speedy trip somewhere. And then the 4 cards I laid on top of that was he doesn't have any home to go back to. He doesn't have anywhere to go back to that's safe. And then I've got, he can keep it balanced for just a little while longer. But then I've got, it takes over. And he's fighting inside himself. And then I just see the Ace of Swords going right through him. He's either going to, you're right, he's either going to have a revelation and climb out of it, or he's going to take something that's too much.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a common prediction when you're dealing with addicts.
Yeah, it is definitely getting bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much. When you're living on that kind of a lifestyle, it'll catch up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like TJ is in that moment. No. Deb, if Sniffy Jr. didn't have the rump org, he would be broke. Yeah. The rump name.
Oh, yeah, they're saying some Wisconsin politician named Van Orden
Yep.
is running away from his constituents.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a really good lady. I talked about it numerous times. I donated to her. Waitress, grew up on a farm,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So you increase the vote came close by a few thousand, but not enough. It's terribly red.
When they redraw the lines, though, isn't this court you've got now going to redraw the lines?
No, oh wait.
The Supreme Court.
Oh yeah, they are working on the federal.
Mm-hmm.
The state one's been decided, but the federal is there's 2 lawsuits directly to our Supreme Court in Wisconsin to look at the gerrymandered federal maps. Yes. Some think it might go to the Supreme Court if it goes that far. But yeah, they're looking at it. But anyway, if it doesn't get done in 2 years, I see there's another Democrat going to challenge the other one that ran against him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Democrats did make gains on the vote difference, but she still lost by a few. See what the energy is. The guy is trash. Let's see what the cards say with energy of Van Orton again in 26.
Mm.
Stressful. I think there's a balance going on. He's greedy. Page of Wands. I think he finally loses. The energy right now is like Van Orton finally loses.
That's what I got.
Enough's going to come out about him, the negativity, and he's going to have a tower moment.
Yep.
Some kind of greed. He may have taken money or something. I think we may find out that it's going to be a negative influence on him. Like took money from his campaign he showed him or something.
Yeah, I've got the main card for him is the 9 of Swords. Nothing's good when you get the 9 of Swords. I'd rather have the 10 of Swords because then it's over. This is just going to be so. Yeah, he's just nobody believes him.
Let's hope that Florida energy, the 15-point swing.
Well, Omaha, Nebraska elected a Democrat for mayor. Omaha, Nebraska. I mean,
isn't Omaha the Democrat area though?
But it never had a Democratic mayor.
Well, they have that one. Isn't wait, no, is that Nebraska or Omaha, Oklahoma? There's one state that has a separate delegate.
Well, there's a part of there's a part of Nebraska that is more Democratic, but it's still they've never had a Democratic mayor.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But, so it's when it starts to get, it's like the school boards here shifting and all that stuff. All those lower level races are extremely important as bellwethers.
Yeah. Yep. Good thing. Van Orton says the VA needs to answer for the amount of money. Van Orton's a clown. Trash. He's trash.
He's a Navy SEAL, right?
I think he was in the service, maybe. He's trash. Weather patterns. Oh, okay. I see another question. Okay. And look at the weird weather patterns. How long will it last? I heard my guides have said it's going to continue.
My guides tell me it's permanent. It's not a matter of lasting. There's no going back. We've screwed the weather patterns up so badly that we're stuck with what we got. That is not encouraging if you live in Texas, and we've already had a 101 degree day. I know.
Weather patterns. Let's see what the cards say. Yeah, it's kind of like our new normal. I think it can weaken. We start going green more, but that takes time for the earth to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. I still believe it's too late to save the water rising by feet.
Well, how are you going to get all the plastics out of the water once you get there? I mean, let's just pick a problem and we can all go home and feel very depressed, except I'm already home. Will the weather change? No. We're never going to be back. And if you move to a place because you just love the weather there, give it up. There's a 9 of coins reversed. What you really loved about moving there is not what it's going to be anymore.
The earth is facing judgment. The energy, we're being judged for our actions.
Mm-hmm.
New and multiple types of weather events are going to be powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Page of Swords. So that's kind of like new energy, new difficult energy. We got a Tower. That's catastrophic, and Chariot. So these events are going to be newer and stronger. In the end, Knight of Pentacles, money to rebound. 3 of Pentacles, a lot of hard work to rebuild. 10 of Pentacles, a lot more money and a lot of heartbreak. So yeah, I don't see it ending.
Nope.
So last year, what was there? 2 bad hurricanes. We can probably expect 3 bad hurricanes.
Or the southeast coast of America can expect things to just run straight up, straight out of the Gulf of Mexico and go straight up, just like it's done recently.
Don't want to, place fear or anything,
Mm-hmm.
But seeing what happened, with the tornadoes that whipped through the Midwest the other day.
Yep. And they're happening so fast, people feel like they don't have any chance to get ready for them. How are the Megatrons feeling about Megatrons feeling?
I think the other people, only thing I've seen, I think Arkansas didn't get their.
I don't think Michigan has either.
I think Kentucky did from their tornadoes in February.
Mm-hmm.
2 months late, because I was googling about that, and his ex press secretary, whatever heck the name is, I forget. Anyway, she's the governor of Arkansas.
Yeah.
He's still begging for money.
I wonder what she and her daddy did to him that he's that way about them. She certainly lied every time he told her to.
Sarah Huckabees. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Bless you. What do we got? A lot of lack of funds, a lot of lack of problems. Whoever's in charge in the federal government with FEMA and whatnot, probably part of the DHS, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a magician in charge, trying to make bad decisions and restricted. So I think it comes from the top, like, no, don't pay it out. And then I get things will come to light about the big man. So I'm guessing this is 45. Things will come to light about the failures to help people. There will be a lot of loss of money. There may actually be lawsuits. So a lot of people are going to be conflicted. The loss of money, 5 of coins, 5 of wands. And then I get the authoritative leader of the King of Swords, which could be, like state governments trying to sue or beg or whatever to try to get funds. Yeah, I think they will see it. So, some. I mean, it's tough to get through, but I think these tower moments are going to help.
Well, the problem is they go and they turn on their news of choice, whatever silo they saunter up to. And and this is a really broad sweeping statement, but I've been around enough of them. I think it's true. As long as they think an immigrant or a black isn't getting it, then they're better off. They don't care how bad it gets for them. And that's their measure. And that's what they're telling him. Look, these other people aren't getting this stuff. AOC just nailed this congressman. And the guy said, why doesn't she speak to us? Because she was looking in the camera when she was talking. And she said, I am looking over where you are. There's a camera over there. But she was talking about how as long as they can shift the blame, she said, this is not the money they are taking. This was their midnight thing that didn't pass, that the Republicans ended up not voting for. But it was says, as long as you can take it from the working class in America, you don't care about anybody else. And she said, and you're lying to people about who this is hurting. You're saying immigrants aren't getting, we're taking this money out about because immigrants are getting it. She said, you have no proof. You've never been able to find any proof that immigrants got a dime of this money. It's working class poor people. And
yeah. Debsy's right. I just Googled quick. After 2 denials, they finally gave her the money this month. Approved the money.
Yeah, but is it there? I mean, because they fired all their people. Who's going to bring the money in and who's going to run it?
Right.
So what are you going to go to? You want to talk about white Africans coming to Texas, coming to America?
Julie thinks he needs more ice.
Ah, thank you, Julie. I guarantee you, that's what we'll go for.
At a FEMA fired, yeah, disastrous. FEMA's out of money and nothing going on.
But Kristi Noem can go write a blank check to send her guys out with face masks to beat up teenagers on sidewalks.
Oh yeah. Okay, we did that. I know what you said, but I didn't star it.
Which one?
Which you said you wanted to look at.
Oh.
And I forgot what you said because I was looking for it.
Oh, Dave, this is a good one.
What's up with David Hogg? Which deck wants this?
He talked bad about old men, and the old men went after him.
The old man in the establishment.
And those old men still have a lot of power.
You don't know what you're doing, Mr. Hogg. You better step down. Let's see. What's up with David Hogg?
I'm going to see if he's going to step down and if they can even get him out, because why are they doing this? The Democrats should just let Trump sit there and fall down and go to anyone who's a strength. And
that's right. You said the South Africans. Okay.
Oh, the South. Yeah.
We'll look at that next.
He's not going to step down.
Indigo Child.
He's not going to step down.
David Hogg. What's going to happen with David Hogg?
So they maybe quietly asked him if he wouldn't step down. So now they're going to have another vote because they decided somehow the vote they took wasn't right. So I don't know if that means everybody goes back up on the chopping block or what.
Okay. Let's see. I see problems within, but I got nothing about him, charioting away or Eight of Cups walking away.
Nope.
I got the King of Cups and Ten of Cups energy, so it feels like he's at home.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a fight right now. I get victory, consistent effort, and missed opportunity.
Yeah, I got the Four of Cups. This is out card for what happens to him. He's offered something that could have been better, but he's hesitant about it.
So I think it was. So I get wishful thinking of what he wanted to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I have Lovers, which is a relationship made in commitment. Seven of Swords. Be careful of the people trying to stab you in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Knight of Wands.
Well, he's in politics, guy. I can tell you when you work in that, even at the level I worked at, every mirror you go by, you look at your back to see how many knives are in it.
But I think he's going to stick around. I think it's up to him. I don't think he can be forced out. That's the feeling I get.
I don't think they can do it. We need the youngins.
Yeah, I think the tone's going to be, like he might sit down with Martin or something and work out some agreement.
What they need to do is they need to get rid of Schumer, and then that would take care of a whole lot of it. We need to have fewer Democratic senators that think they should stay in the Senate until they're taken out on a gurney.
Right. That's why AOC should run against Schumer in the primary.
Yeah. Speaking of Senate races, Paxton's going to run for Senate against Cornyn.
Yeah, we've been hearing that one.
Oh, it's not a just here. It's a yes, fight. So, yeah, this is a good one to read out.
He did file? Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm, yeah, he's got his committees together. He's starting to raise his money.
Mr. Paxton.
See if he's gonna beat Cornyn.
Republican primary. Paxton or Cornyn? How am I gonna do this?
I'm just going to ask if Paxton's going to win the primary.
Yeah. I think it's just concentrate on one instead of two people.
I mean, not that Cornyn is a well-loved character. Uh-oh, picked the wrong race. Uh-oh.
Is Ken Paxton gonna beat John Cornyn?
I gotta know. I gotta no, because everybody knows what a sleazeball he is. So that's 4 no's, and then he's setting himself up really to run for other things later because he still thinks he wants to be in charge. And I hate to tell that man, but after the Dems take over the House, they're gonna unleash what the powers that be on him. So bye. I mean,
right now, before I looked at the cards, because they don't look bad. I mean, there's some bad energy. I think
you're just talking about Paxton. There's going to be.
You're right. But the Page of Coins, yeah, okay. He's seeking a new path. The Page of Wands, a lot of BS in the air, but the Five of Wands shows the lack of direction, conflict, and energy. Then I got Knight of Coins and King of Cups, so he may try to look like a better person than Cornyn. maybe some financial backing, whatever. But
Good.
I get my Hermit Fool card.
Mm-hmm.
But my guides are feeling cornered by like 10. I don't think they'll be close because I think Paxton is hated more than Cornyn.
Cornyn is not loved.
But I think there's a little more respect than.
But Cornyn doesn't rub it in your face every time he talks to you. And I'm trying to not have my own personal prejudices. I mean, I've physically been in the same room with the person, and I survived. I didn't throw up, so.
Yeah, I just threw a couple cards. Deb asked if he's going to be able to cheat his way. This is a primary. I don't think they can.
Cheating in your own primary is tough because the other guy's as big a cheat as you are.
I don't think there's the primary is harder to get a cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Sensing. This is true. We've known this for what, 8 years now? Paxton should be behind bars.
Yeah, and all the people, and there are people who were charged with him, went through the trials, have been in jail, and are out. I mean, how long has it been going on?
No, I missed that. Oh. Yeah, what's up with the South Africans that showed up here?
Have they shown up? I thought they were trying to get them to show up.
No, they came.
Okay.
Yep, the 50 of them or whatever were herding with their bags, looking all healthy.
Man, they're really tough, hard up for white votes when they're importing them from Africa.
When you have two cheaters going against each other, they usually expose each other. Paxton and Cornyn.
That's why their party is the Red Party. They're all bleeding from scratching at each other.
I don't know why people would come here. What are they going to do? I mean, it's not like they're going to, to run their own farms, right? You need a couple $1 million to start a farm.
Mm-hmm.
In my own area, I like to look at what properties for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 3 properties for sale right now that could be turned into like beef farm or chicken farm or whatever it was, right? Goats. Asking price of the land is like 1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
On the property. Then you'd have to make some improvements, adjustments to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are like horse farms that went under, boarding farms and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So then you do all that. Then you're talking $2 to $3 million before you even get off the ground. They're not going to be liking it here, I don't think, unless they have special skills to do something.
They're not going to like it here. I got that this is the Knight of Swords, and that when that shows up means people who had a real reason to need to move. But they're walking into a bigger nest than what they walked away from, which they find hard to believe. They're a severely depressed crew. I mean, they're emotionally depressed. They didn't bring any money with them to make this work. They were told a BS story how they could ride in and be the victors. And they're about to find out white people don't like white people with funny, almost not quite British accents.
Yeah, I got there sold a bill of goods.
Mm-hmm.
The liar, deceit card I get. Your new offer, Page of Cups to come, and then they don't have the financial backing they need. Death card, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Coins, they might redirect. Like, this ain't gonna work out. And yeah, they're not gonna like it here. They're gonna be in a constant state of decisions, how to live. Knight of Swords, the negative feelings of pressure against them, and their life's purpose is not good. It's my judgment card. So it's kind of like your yin and yang, your life purpose, and it's all in the negative aspects because you're in flux with these decisions and waiting and what do I do? Ugh, it ain't gonna be peaches and roses. If they thought they're gonna come here and get
they got sold
$200,000-$300,000 jobs and have a great life and a house given to them, it isn't gonna happen. I think they're gonna end up going back.
Well, they're people who didn't like the reconciliation hearings, didn't like the fact that didn't like the fact the government was taking back land that their family had stolen. So, of course, we'd all be living on a very small spot of land if we had to give back all the land we're living on that was stolen.
Well, Rump pardon Santos. Someone else asked me that a while ago.
No,
I don't see him getting pardoned. What was the warmongering about Greenland about?
abated. Why has the warmongering about Greenland abated? Because the more they talked about it, the angrier it made Europe because they're picking on little bitty Denmark.
No.
That's how I read it. Am I reading it wrong? I don't.
No, you could. No, that's right, I think.
I mean, those people are crazy. They don't want to mess with people. There's like, 150,000 of them on that whole giant chunk of ice and whatever.
Yeah,
they don't
like 75,000 or whatever. 50. The whole thing was ridiculous.
I actually had a neighbor one time who was born in Greenland. And I said, my God, are you a rare critter? He said, that's true.
Orange Bloatus didn't give any respect to Israel when he was over there.
Well, they don't like if they could get their prime minister to leave and go to a country where he could get extradited, the whole country would cheer. So what is the question?
Oh, let's see a timing or whatever. Are they tied together to go away? I don't know if Bibi went to the Pope's thing because the Vatican was saying they couldn't guarantee not to arrest him for his war criminal charge. Okay. Russia, Israel, Trump. Bibi, Putin, Trump tied together. Is there any energy of them going away? Are they tied together? Is delays?
No, they're still putting up the good fight, being the fools, and they're still building their little borders. There's no date on it right now. This is the Six of Swords, which is normally moving on to somewhere else. None of them are moving on, but all three of them are being pressured by women. And nothing's going to happen for them beyond their own borders until something happens. So it's kind of a general look at the bunch of them.
There is a tie of them together here, I'm seeing. 'Cause I got Strength, King of Wands, and Justice. Justice is atonement for past mistakes. So, with Strength is the roots that bind them together. King of Wands can be like a warmonger influence.
Mm-hmm.
There is a path. I mean, I do see like a tie together kind of feeling. So the Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Cups, and 2 of Swords. So we got paths intersecting, which way to go. 10 of Cups would be the happy family. And Wheel of Fortune, karma coming around. Outcome. Knight of Swords. 6 of Cups. 3 of Coins, and 4 of Wands. Not terrible cards.
No,
When they go away.
I don't think you can do them. And I think when one goes, the others might start to fall. But I think the last one who's going to be in power is Netanyahu. And that's sad.
Yeah, probably. I guess it doesn't feel like it's an easy read to read them together.
No.
I probably shouldn't have done that because it doesn't really tell a story. It shows the binding together. It shows the past that could happen. It shows the negative energy that's been around for a long time with the 6 of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
Shows the wars with the Knight of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
Shows the contracts and unity between them. But reading it that way doesn't show like when
I'm going to do a 3-3-3. I'm going to do 3 on Putin, 3 on Netanyahu, and 3 on Trump, and see if it helps me at all.
Let's see.
Netanyahu.
Oh yeah, Debsy. I believe Saudis are laughing at him.
Putin's going to be the first to go. And actually it's kind of a race between Putin and Trump. He thinks he's a magician. He thinks he has the world. And he relies way too much on kind of his understanding of earthly values. That's what's going to, so if you that's a kind of yes, is he going away? And then for Netanyahu, I got the Star, I got the Ace of Swords, and I got the King of Pentacles. As long as he can play Big Bad Daddy, he's not going to go from where he is. But the one that's the closest to a yes, he's leaving, other than Trump, is Putin. And he's always lived by his intuitions and what to do. But he's mentally stuck. And I think he's mentally stuck because he doesn't have a brain. And I mean that quite literally. I don't think he's thinking at all. And like I said, there's a woman that I keep saying in his charts that's going to have something to do with him going away. So bye, Pootie.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement there.
But I see Trump. I'm seeing Trump being badly injured and hurt and not being effective much sooner than right when he goes, then Putin goes, and then you still have Netanyahu screwing up the Middle East.
Yeah, I got that for Netanyahu too.
Yep.
The Star, 6 of Coins, Page of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
There's no going away yet for Netanyahu. He's still got enough division, enough support with the 6 of Coins. Page of Swords is negative hopes and dreams, new things. The Star, he's still got protection.
Mm-hmm.
Putin, I got High Priestess, 8 of Swords, 7 of Coins. I think he's already trapped.
Mm-hmm.
His demise is already written with the high priestess.
And he's getting some serious dark side help. I have the funny feeling he's getting serious dark side help.
45, I get 5 of Cups. He's already lost. The Hangman. His life's already in a balance. And King of Swords. Whenever legal can get him bad enough, he'll be gone.
Mm-hmm. And it started this weekend. It started this week when he lost that badly in the Supreme Court.
I mean, I've always said Putin's gone. It's just the Kremlin.
Well, we've been waiting to figure out which body they're going to put in the coffin and say it was him. So,
like I said, I already had that sense. He's in a cryogenic state, and then when they finally says he's gone, then they'll just bring out that unfreeze the body.
Yeah, but you can tell they've been frozen.
That could be.
If you get close enough, we'll never get close enough, and they're not going to stick him in a glass coffin and put him in Red Square. So,
whenever the Russian generals or whatever, Lavrov and whatnot, said we can't do this anymore, we're destroying everything, we're broke,
mm-hmm.
And finally end it.
Well, they're trying to figure out how they can get out with something. That's what they're working on right now, and they're hoping they can badger. They thought they had Europe on the edge, and now they find out they don't. Now they got a pope they really don't like.
That's the problem. They ain't gonna.
You want to do Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Ugh.
No, well, I can tell you guys, she pulled from the Senate race, not because Trump was like the almighty big daddy and did it. She talked to people in Georgia, and nobody's going to beat us off. So they're going to try to find some other sacrificial.
That's not her. You would lose by 30%. 30 points. 127.
When you can't get Kemp, who's a popular politician in their state, to try and run against him, what are you going to do when you put? Is Medicare going to be cut? Okay, you mean okay? When you say this, are they going to trim at the edges, or are they going to get rid of all of it? What are we asking?
Is there going to be cut changes? Because they're talking about it, right?
Okay.
They're talking 880 billion in cuts over 5 years or whatever. The good folks that look into it say there would be like 13 million losing coverage, something like that.
Okay.
In the end of the budget process, will there any be down changes in Medicaid?
Okay, that's
where
good.
I'm going to go with it. Medicaid, I consider Medicare and Medicaid the same thing in a sense.
No.
I mean, it's help.
No, they're based on totally different premises.
Okay. I have to read more then.
Yes.
I don't receive it, so I didn't really care about it. The ins and outs, I mean.
No, they're going to try to trim it on the edges. It's not going to work. I gotta split 3 and 3. So they're going to try. They're going to try to push something through, but it's not going to make it. They don't have the strength to push it through and make it work. And this is just an delusion thing to try and balance the budget. What they need to do is what people are finally focusing on, and the more they push on what few services people do get from the federal government, what people are becoming more and more aware of is how much more money has been given to the wealthy. And so they're going to have to back off because of that. But yes, what did you see, Mr. Scott?
Okay. The current they're talking about, yes, they're talking about the loss and cuts, but I think it's going to be guided by higher higher values,
Mm-hmm.
a death card. So higher values, kind of like the angels are telling you can't do this kind of feeling. And then that loss, 5 of Cups, and then I get the death card ending up of that talk. In the end, I got the Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands, and Page of Coins. That isn't cutting. I think there's going to be enough people talking out,
Mm-hmm.
enough whistleblowing kind of thing, enough speakers that it'll stay on a different path, maybe even increased a little bit to a point. So Wheel of Fortune is all about good luck and positive things. So I think the talk now will come to an end and it won't be included.
Nope. And I don't know where they're going to find it. And if they come in the next best place to look, then you'll hear me screaming next Sunday on.
Well, we all know the biggest place to cut is the defense fund.
Yes.
Cut billions off of there and actually make the billionaires to pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need. Okay, 1:30. Inspire us. Time to be inspired, Nancy Jean.
Okay.
Card of the day.
Let me see who we got.
Will Chuck Grassley live forever?
No, I think they will.
What is he, 94?
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh my God. How can he keep going?
Dark side witchcraft, if you ask me, but nobody did. So
I still get 2 to 3 more years yet in his life. He feels like he's got a lot of strength in him yet.
a good Midwestern farmer stock.
Ooh,
What?
got some decent cards coming out.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. You ready to go? You want me?
Yeah. I got the 9 of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Wishes Come True card. The Emperor and the Devil. So it feels like what it's telling us is get organized,
Mm-hmm.
and use our logic so you don't get trapped in a cycle that keeps us down. Because like the Emperor can be a good and bad symbol because they can have control, but they can also show you guidance. And the Devil keeps you down if you don't release those ego-driven things or things that strike us hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we have a better time in life with that 9 of Cups when we don't have that feeling of powerless and that we're being told what to do and getting caught up in fear and worry. So I think it feels like recognizing the dark side of times and releasing those things so we have a better time. Go ahead.
What I got is from the Witching Hour Oracle, and I got knowing and take the first step. Trust your soul and your intuition. Don't wait until you're ready. Every living thing is on the planet, and every celestial body within the universe has an innate knowledge of what to do. You see this intelligence within the flower, telling you what to do when it blooms. It's within its animals you migrate, telling them what you know and how to speak. It's within the planets and the circle of the sun to have perfect synchronization. So now is the time to follow one nugget to another nugget and wait for the next one to appear. Follow that nugget, and you will become aware of what is all available and what is guiding you. So it's knowing, using your intuition. This was one of our cards in our reading for the outcome from the garden, was to use your intuition. That we're going to feel it much more strongly. We're going to feel it with less hesitancy than we felt before.
Good. Yeah. Very similar. Using our intuition. Don't release our power from our own space. And anything you read, hear, write about, just take that calm approach and not get into that fear and worry. And have a great day.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
I've got to be I'm gonna be on tomorrow with Terry in the morning. I'm going to be on my show on Tuesday, and then I'm having my special show on Friday about how to build a grid, and I'm going to be doing that with Sheila. We're going to do it on StreamYard. Sheila's going to watch the questions and be asking me questions. You're going to be seeing me working on my table and laying out, and I've got 2 grids to build. One is called Transition, and the other one is called the Merkaba. And then but instead of using the typical background for Merkaba, we're going to use Delight. So just be there if you want to see it. Live on live on Friday night at 7 in the evening. That's a long holiday weekend, so you can't have that much going on. And also I'm doing 6-month readings, June to December. And I'm doing readings if you want readings. I don't do many past life readings right now because everybody's so trying to figure out what they're doing in this one. They don't care about the past ones anymore.
So yeah, Wednesday night I think I'm gonna do a live with this guy, Mr. Jeff from Tarot Bass Akron.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So Wednesday after work, we're gonna try to get together. We were gonna do it last Wednesday, but then I remembered, oh yeah, it was my birthday, so no time for that.
Yeah, a little thing like that.
Dinner and cake kind of interfered.
And also, I forgot. I'm still signing people up for the tarot class. A couple of the ladies signed up, and then they realized they had vacation time coming up, so we're now starting in June sometime. So if you're interested in learning how to read tarot from me and from Jeffrey, you learn 2 different ways. And it's an escape from the crap show that we're stuck with. And look at the good signs, guy. The mayor of Omaha. We got the Supreme Court going our direction. Happy belated birthday to Scott. You didn't publicize it much, so I wasn't sure how much you wanted people to know.
Yeah, 57 last Wednesday.
I know.
Yay. And you turned 62 a while back, didn't you? A couple days ago.
And so y'all take care and hope you make it through the next week. And bye, Scott. See you later.
Yeah, next 2 weeks look pretty good. Yes, Kathy D. It was May 14. Have a great one, everyone.